Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Billy Swanson, who will fight on DBX for October 30th. Hello, Billy. How are you?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good, and you get I think that really big opportunity because you will fight against Gable Steveson, who of course is known as the great wrestler. It will be a main event on the show, on the Dirty Boxing show. And if you can tell me, when did you find out about this fight?
So I found out about this fight about 2 weeks ago, maybe three. Um, I'd already kind of so I fought for BKFC back in August, and about a week after that fight, I came back. Just kind of, I was pissed off at myself. That was a lot of people don't realize. Like I've seen in articles where they only reference my pro record, where I'm 4-3. But a lot of people don't realize I was 9-1 as an amateur before that. And given I'm 4-3, a lot of people only see me because I've taken like short notice fights on 4 days notice, 5 days notice. BKFC was 19 days notice, and I cut 30 pounds. And so I've just not held the standard myself as a fighter when I didn't have an opportunity. And so I kind of took that loss like I should, personal. And I came back. I started holding the standard. I lift daily. I run now. I'm pushing my cardio. I'm in the best shape I've ever been. And so, ironically, man, about 6 weeks passed of me putting myself through hell on a daily basis. And then Dirty Boxing started hitting me up. And they're like, hey, we got this amazing opportunity for you. You could main event versus Gable Steveson. Like you said, he's a well known wrestler, he's an Olympic gold medalist. And but that's the thing, man. Like a lot of people think that I'm the bum in this matchup, and they're just trying to pad his record, but they don't realize, like, yes, he's a great athlete, yes, he's a great wrestler, but this is boxing. And he's gonna have to stand there and fight me, and actually, due to the rule set, it actually goes against him. The more that he tries to grapple me and wrestle me and hold on to me, they'll actually start taking points from him. So he's going to actually have to have striking exchanges with me, and I hope he comes ready, because if he doesn't, I'm going to shock the world that night.
And I would definitely agree that right now he's, especially in the like striking sport, he's unknown commodity. And of course, you are definitely a more experienced fighter. Like you mentioned, you had a lot of great fights, either like as the amateur or the pro. And also you lost as the pro only against good fighters, which is, I think, also a really important thing, that you are not that you didn't lose just to some guys, but really good fighters.
Um, yeah, I mean, most of the fights that I've lost, other than a handful, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I don't really believe in that. But most of the fights that I've lost, typically, man, like I said, they come on short notice. They come, less than a month, less than a couple weeks at that, sometimes on a week notice. Um, and they're against these guys who have trained for that date for 6 months or 8 months or sometimes a year. And they went through 8 different opponents, and then here I step in on a week notice, and I try and fight this guy who's peaked himself for that date. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, it as like a casual fan, is there's different circumstances that come into fighting that could kind of inhibit a certain fighter and their ability to perform that night. And taking fights on short notice and not being in the best shape, that was definitely one of them. um like I said, man, I think he's in for a world of surprise on October 30th. Like, I mean, like I said, I've always told anyone that I coach, the moment you overlook anybody is the moment that fight will turn into the toughest fight of your life. And I mean, man, I've been in there with some big motherfuckers. Everybody hits hard at heavyweight. Like that's nothing new. I mean, he's going to be a great athlete. I've been in there with people who were great athletes. Um, and that's just the real reality. I've been in these fights before. He is not. And so, like I said, I think October 30th is going to be my night to shock the world.
And before you fought in Muay Thai, in bare knuckle, right now it will be dirty boxing. And in near future, do you think that you will be back to MMA?
I would like to. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that I haven't been super active, I would say, in recent years, is just because the business, man, people can people can run from fights on a regional level, and it can like hold you out and keep you from getting these opportunities. And then you've got to do what I've done, and you take these short notice fights, and then you get told by the Ultimate Fighter when they have the heavyweight season that you've got two back-to-back losses and that your resume isn't reflective of what they want, but they've got a 40-year-old fighter on there who's not fought in 10 years. And it's just kind of, I've never really looked the part, man, but I am the part. And so like now I'm holding that standard, and everybody's going to see when I show up on October 30th, I am no longer the fat guy who's going to get tired after a round. Like he's going to have to fight me. This is a 5 round fight. So if we fight for 15 minutes, I'm going to be in there for 15 minutes throwing at him. And I hope he's ready. Like, cause if he's not, like I said, he'll go to sleep before the final bell.
And right now, for the dirty boxing, is it like one fight deal with the organization?
So yeah, this is a one fight deal with them. I've also like BKFC. There's somebody who I've also fought for, and I've got offers in the works with them as well. And I mean, there's no telling what opens up after this. But I think that I mean, right now, like I said, that's kind of what the unfortunate thing of where I am in my career. It's like on a regional level, nobody wants to really pay you anything. And so it's like I've got to fight this ex UFC guy for free on a regional level. And it's like, well, how do I provide for my family? Where's the security? Where's the sense and logic in me going and fighting this world level guy and me going in the red to fight him and potentially losing the fight and then getting told by UFC or something that, hey, you're not cut out for it. Or when you look at it like, okay, I'm a wrestler. I'm a high level brown belt, almost a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm giving up 20 years of grappling and kicks and Muay Thai to just box people because honestly, that's just the better paying fights right now. And it's like, it's not that to say that I don't enjoy fighting for these different promotions. BKFC's a very friendly promotion. So far, Dirty Boxing's been nice to me. I mean, I get treated well, but it's like I would like to get some of these fights, and that's kind of what I thought by taking that 4-day notice fight versus Marcelo Gome in Bellator, or that 5-day notice fight in PFL in the Challenger Series, was going to kind of show that, like, hey, this guy's not afraid to take these tough fights. Like, give him a camp and see what he can actually do. And actually, like I said, because I took that 4-day notice fight and lost, and then that 5-day notice fight, then when the Ultimate Fighter popped up, that's literally what my manager got told by the UFC was, well, he's on a 2-fight loss streak. We can't, we don't want, a guy who's on a loss streak fighting on the Ultimate Fighter. And then even at that, fast forward, you just have regional fights that like these guys will get offered me, and it's like I'm trying to fight MMA, and even if it is me fighting for free, essentially, and guys will just decline the fight, or they'll be like, "Oh, you got to pay me $10,000 for this regional fight," and it's like, "Well, shit, nobody's getting paid that." And so it's that's just kind of thing, man. I've been in a realistically, if you look at my career, you'll see that I had 10 amateur fights in my first 2 years. So I had 5 fights a year, essentially. I was 9-1, number one in Tennessee, number one in the Southeast, and the UAF national champion. And then as a pro in 8 years, I've had 8 or 9 fights. So it's like, it's just, I wish the opportunities came to me more fairly. Like, some of these other guys who, and it's not to, trash any of these gyms. I mean, they're well connected because they've got countless people who've been to the UFC and stuff. But like, the AKAs and the stuff like that, those gyms, you don't have to have the resume that I have to even get an opportunity in the Contender Series or something. And that's kind of, as a somebody who's fought now for 10 years and tried to make this a career and really chase this dream, like that's one of the demoralizing things that, in my opinion, makes most fighters hang it up. Is you see somebody like Gable Steveson or somebody like that kind of just jump in this and get catapulted to the fights in which they're able to provide for their family. And then somebody like me has had to take the long haul and be told by everybody, oh man, that's dumb. That's foolish. Just give up on that dream. You should go get a real job. And it's like, but I can do this. I can compete at this level. And so it's, like I said, it's the constant struggle of most fighters. I mean, financially.
But it's actually, I think that it's really good that this fight will be a big one. There will be a lot of exposure, and I think that if you win this fight, you can get some good offers from either like big regional promotions, maybe some other big fight in dirty boxing, because they even have a like heavyweight champion right now. So I think that this can be like the most important fight of your career, because if you win it, you will be the first guy who won really a fight against really hyped guy. Of course, he deserved it because what he did in wrestling, but in like combat striking, combat sport, he's not super experienced. And right now, you can take all of this momentum.
Yes, and I completely agree with you on that. Like, it is the perfect opportunity, so to say, to catapult myself into bigger opportunities and bigger paydays and um, into stardom, so to say. And that's the crazy thing about this game. Like, if I had any advice for like younger fighters and all that, it's like, don't get jealous when you see somebody around you or that gets an opportunity. Like, because if you allow that to get to you, you're just going to end up getting bitter, and then when your opportunity comes, you're not going to be ready. Instead of just staying focused on yourself, because we all have a different journey, we all have a different path, and I mean, it might take you, like me, 10 years before an opportunity really arises, and it's the thing that opens, a new chapter in life. And so, no, man, I think without a doubt, this will be the best me that's ever stepped in the ring. Um, like I said, man, I think that they thought I was a slouch. And I mean, you can see in the way it's marketed and everybody's comments and stuff like that. And just people don't realize, like, man, I've had a lot of different things going on over the past few years. And the past 5 years, I've built one of the biggest gyms in Chattanooga. I own Chattanooga MMA College. I've built one of the biggest regional shows that I'm still an all AMI, but I'm doing what they say you can't do with amateurs. I'm uh, budgeting $30,000 to $50,000 on a show and selling that in tickets with all AMIs from all across the Southeast. And it's pretty much a world level amateur platform. It's called All or Nothing Fights. And like we got an event coming up this weekend, October 11th, here in Hickson, Tennessee, where it's like an outdoor fight festival type thing where we'll have music early during the day. We'll have food trucks and vendors and stuff set up. And then we've got 14 fights, 9 kickboxing and 5 MMA fights planned for, anybody that's there in attendance. Last time we did it back in March, we had like 1,000 people show up. So, I mean, that's the thing, man. I build a lot of opportunities for others, and I have a big heart, and I'm very giving, and I think that's just kind of like the morality of it. I think when you give enough in life, opportunities and blessings are abundant. But when you are overly selfish, then that alone can close those doors on you. And like I said, I prayed on this, man. Ironically, I lost that BKFC fight, and like I said, I built a lot of things, and like I kind of had to ask myself and ask God. I was like, is this where I hang it up? Is it like I'm not winning? I haven't won in a couple years. Like, is this that moment? And and then ironically, I was like, no, I'm not a quitter. I'm not a loser. I've not shown personally. I felt like I've not shown the athlete and competitor that I truly am, and I feel like I've accomplished everything in my career and really only gave 30%, 40% to accomplish that. So like I had that gut check with myself, and I was like, no, like I'm going to sacrifice and I'm truly going to get myself in shape and I'm going to show the athlete that I am before I ever retire. And then, ironically, like I said, was praying about it, and then this opportunity came. So it's like, I got off my ass and I started putting forth the work when there was nothing, had nothing planned. Had 6 weeks of that, of putting myself through hell, waking up every day like sore as shit, couldn't move, like running and haven't ran in 10 years. And then, ironically, like I said, after 6 weeks of work, then this fight comes. And so now, by the time I step in there, I've had 11 weeks of strength and conditioning. I feel great. Um, and like I said, this will be the best version of me that's ever stepped in the ring. And unfortunate for Gable, but if I'm the underdog, which I should be, bet the house because we're winning big that now.
And you mentioned your gym, and right now, do you have fighters, even like amateur fighters, that you can see really big potential, and you think that in a few years they can be on the like UFC level? And also, do you have in your gym like the heavyweight sparring partners that you can spar even hard?
So I have some people in my gym that are able to push me in a variety of ways. And I think that, just sparring hard is not always like, doesn't mean that you're growing. Now it means you can react under pressure, but doesn't mean that like your overall movements or even at that, CTE is a real thing. So you just get beat in the head enough, you're just shorting your window in which you can compete. Um, so like I do have guys that I go cross train with and I get good work with. My good friend Warren Thompson down in Canton, Georgia at Torch MMA. He's a fought in glory kickboxing at middleweight. He is a line fight Muay Thai heavyweight world champion. He's fought in BKFC and got when I go down and I work with Warren on Monday mornings and Joe Elmore and a bunch of the different guys down there. Get great work with those guys. I get good sparring on Friday evenings with my guys, or I go up and I cross train with Knoxville MMA, and they've got Knoxville MMA has probably 80 to 100 fighters at their gym. One of which is Ovent St. Preux that I've gotten a lot of work with over the years. And so I think also in the other light, it's in technical training. I grew up wrestling, and like it's funny, I'm fighting a wrestler and I grew up wrestling as well. But essentially, I learned in wrestling a long time ago, man, how you drill is how you kill. So it's like if you're sloppy repping movements and stuff like that, well, then when you get out there and you fight, that's exactly how you're going to move. I do a lot of different varieties of training. I've got a great coach, Chat Lavender, that pushes me at my gym and kind of makes me work out in a variety of ways. And so, I mean, I think that when it comes to just training, I mean, like I said, I push myself. I've got a great team around me. I don't think that I have to necessarily go, you know, and that's been something my entire career. I think, and this ain't to poop on them, so to say, but like, I think when it comes to different, different high level gyms like that, sorry, I was getting a call and got sidetracked. When it comes to high level gyms like that, uh, you'll get an opportunity quicker, but you're giving up more of your pay and stuff like that to pay for the coaching and pay for the management. And sometimes they put you in housing and stuff like that. So it's like people don't realize, like, yeah, you got a lot of good training partners around, but also if you're not the big name on the totem pole, you're not really the guy that they give a shit about. So it's like you're getting coached, but you're not really getting prioritized. And a lot of times you'll see different people pop up out of these small gyms that have high level technique. And it's simply because they've been prioritized and have that one on one coaching and isolation with that coach. and just really believing in the process, man. I mean, I think Yuri, I can't pronounce his last name, but in the UFC is a prime example of that. Everybody laughs about him and the stuff where he trains out in the woods and by himself and all that. And they're like, there's no way this guy could be good. And then he's been a world champion before. And so, like, I think that's just kind of when you look at it, like, fighting is philosophy, it's personal. So it's like I think Dwayne Ludwig had probably the best quote on explaining martial arts. Um, Martial is warfare, art is passion and soul. So when you combine the two, you have warfare through your passion and soul. So I mean, there's only so many ways to throw a jab. You got to adapt it into your own ability and understand the your range of motion, your fluent agility, and how you can move and contort it and create that power. Um, so I think that's where I beat Gable in this. I mean, people talk about, like you said, my dream. So I love fighting. Okay, and I've always told people I'm one of the best in the world. I've got to show the world one fight at a time. But I think realistically, my overall dream is to be a great coach. Um, I had a coach, my wrestling coach when I was in high school, Coach Henry. He had a great impact on me, man. I was a troubled kid, had troubled youth, and if it wouldn't have been for my wrestling community, I probably wouldn't have been the man I am today. And so, like the impact he had on me, I directly wanted to have that impact on children who had my background. And so it's also kind of why I opened my gym in my hometown and stuff like that, just because I understand what it is to be troubled and have the wrong choices all around you and not have anybody around you pushing you to the right. And so realistically, my dream is to have that same impact on any individual that needs it. And not only do I strive for myself to win a world championship, but I believe, honestly, before too long, I will have countless people fighting on different world level platforms out of my gym. And within 10 years to 15 years' time, we will have multiple world champions out of Chattanooga MMA College.
Okay, Billy, so many thanks for the time and for conversation. I think that this fight can be really big. I think that you definitely have tools to hurt him, to knock him out, and I think that with a win, definitely good things will happen to your career, and I hope that in the end it will happen.
No, and I appreciate that, man. I thank you for having me on, giving me a chance to kind of share my story and speak about it. And I agree with that, man. I think, like I said earlier, it's a win-win opportunity for me. A lot of people are doubting me and don't give me any credit in this matchup. They think that Dirty Boxing is just trying to pad Gable's record. And if they really think that about me, I please Google me and go watch some of my old fights. And you will see Gable is not about to have an easy fight, and I am showing up ready. Ideally, and that's really another reason why I didn't really want to post about it is because I I kind of like him doubting me because that just gives me more the advantage when he thinks that I'm going to show up fat and out of shape and I show up ready. And I mean, like I said, man, I don't think that when it comes down to the striking exchanges that he has personally had the time to get comfortable in it and have the correct and intelligent reactions. And I think maybe it's not the first round, but at some point in that fight, I think I'm going to have my opportunity to put his lights out, and I'm going to take my chance.